Who am I? No, I ask myself that regularly. Where am I going? What has changed? And that short
Phil
answer is
hates intros.
a lot. A lot has changed. Okay, a lot has changed. I'm not the same man I was before this baby came into my life. Had a brother cutting pineapples randomly. We go to the grocery store. I'm buying zucchini. Why? Because she grabbed it. I'm just like, you know what? I want to encourage you to eat vegetables. This is a good practice for us. The old me would have been like, nah, why are we doing this? But now I'm just like, okay, it's cute. Let's go ahead and whatever you want. It's fine. Now, I would say the biggest shift has been it's no longer about me. It's no longer just about me and my partner. It's about the collective unit and this kind of unified focus on who she is. And while doing that, still trying to maintain some of the things that are valuable to me. Like I want to work out. I want to tend to my plants. I don't want you to pick the tomatoes off my daggone plant. I spent a lot of time getting that plant to a good place and you just want to just ruin it. I love you. I bought it for you, but it's really for me. All that to say, my
Let's get
identity
into it.
is, yeah, it's changing. It's evolving. Let's go. We're 2 minutes in. Let's just this party started.
Wait,
Hello, everybody. Welcome back one more time. It is your three favorite dads reporting live. Carlos here.
Hansel.
Philip.
As you all know, we are here
with
to
the P.
talk about dad stuff, things that are top of
Seems
mind.
legit.
You heard Phil's preamble, because again, this is another one he is passionate about.
You said pre-ramble or preamble? A little dad joke there for you.
Yes, is what I'm going to answer.
Yes.
There we go. I mean, dang, it took you long enough, producer. I mean, jeez.
Look,
The
at
brother
the end
got
of
to
the
do
day,
to get.
A little crowd reaction.
there. You happy? You happy? Listen, it takes a lot. There's a lot of clicks. There's a lot of things happening.
Too many
It's a
buttons.
lot- I gotta worry about videos getting out and Hansel's camera panning left and right.
Yo, I
It's a
can't lift
lot
my
to keep
hands.
track of. That's why Hansel has no arms. It's just
But yeah, so hit me. What are we talking about today, Carlos?
but we don't even need to do that. We already started.
But I forgot. My brain went like, what's this topic again? Where are we going?
No, so today we're talking about identity shift, right?
Mm.
So how pre-fatherhood, post-fatherhood, what does that look like? How do you feel? I really actually want to kick it off with the most recent, dad, Carlos, because you're literally living, either through that right now or recently gone through some of those shifts. So for someone who's the closest to, I guess, that nexus of change, hit us with, I guess, some realizations and just with that process of like dad Carlos versus like individual or partner Carlos.
Look, I was talking to somebody the other day and they were like, oh man, you're always reading fascinating things. Like, what are you reading now? And I took a beat and I was like, oh shit, I don't know. I'm not reading anything actually. Like I haven't read in a very long time. So I think that part of the identity shift for me has been that thinking of all of the things I used to prioritize and give time to, whether intentionally or not, that all has kind of gone out the window. One of the things that I would do a lot that I tried to do, I've spent the better part of like 4 years building the habit of like morning pages. That's a concept that was coined by Julia Cameron in her book, The Writer's Way, or The Artist's Way, rather. We had been doing it actually. Like Elle and I would sit down every morning over our coffee and we would freehand 3 pages of just thoughts to kind of get the day started. And it was a great way to like balance out everything, clear out the mind, and jump in with like fresh perspective. And we knew, like, we're not too disconnected from reality. We knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew that time wasn't going to be there as readily available at the start. But that's just one thing that we've realized has gone out the window. That TV time has gone out the window. So it's not like we're decompressing on the couch like we used to and watching shows. Because now when we decompress and wrapping up for the day, It's resetting the living room. It's cleaning the kitchen. It's picking everything up and making sure that the next day is good to go. So I think that that's really where the identity shift for me has gone, where it's like, oh, all these rituals and habits that I had before, now I need to be mindful of like, cool, is that actually necessary right now? Or is that the best use of my time? Or is there something that I can do that'll actually, benefit the family and benefit us like generally going forward? So I think that the in real, life transition right now is that I think the other day I had the realization where I was like, you know what? I thought the transition period was going to be the first 6 months, that there's the I would say infamous fourth trimester that people don't generally talk about too much, or at least before you enter parenthood. And I was like, oh, like once we get on the other side of that, that's when our transition will change. And it's like, no, this transition is going to last for
All the way.
years, and you need to intentionally go and like make the compromises of, okay, what am I dedicating time to? How am I going to dedicate that time? So it's hard, man. There is no clean and straightforward answer, as you all know, because it's on a day-to-day basis. And it's like today, we've spent 2 weeks now in like a funky sleep transition thing where like the nights have been rough and everybody's getting a little sleep. So that throws any routine and habit out the window. But on Friday, we had an early bedtime because we had great daytime sleep. A was down at 6:30, and we looked at each other like, oh wow, we have like 2.5, 3 hours in our evening that we usually don't. Do we watch TV? Do we sit here and like do something else that we normally don't?
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no, we're going to still pick up. We're going to do our thing. We enjoyed a nice bowl of ice cream as our treat. And then we got ready for bed because we were like, we're still catching up. We're tired.
Well,
So,
but I guess the question too is like, to what degree, what I think about is to what degree is it an identity shift or more like a priority shift, right? Because
Yeah, I
like
think
I,
it's the
I would,
latter.
because like I don't think I've had an identity shift per se. I'm not saying that you couldn't, right? But I don't think that I've had an identity shift, but I think there's been a certain shifts in priorities, right? Like, you know, I'm not saying I don't still have a short temper, but I feel like I've learned more patience, not because magically now I have more patience, right? But I've started to see certain things of like, hey, yes, kids can be rebellious, but then sometimes it's not rebellion, is them trying to kind of figure
Push those
things out on
limits.
their own.
Yes.
Yeah,
mhm.
like something as simple as like, hey, a recent example a couple of weeks ago was we're buying clothes and we're trying in the dressing room, and I'm like, okay, well, they tried it on, came out, and I'm like, hey, you didn't show me how it fit. It's like, oh no, but it was too small. I'm like, okay, well, was it how many inches bigger was it? Because it was too big. It needs to be smaller. It's like, how many inches bigger? I think one. I'm like, well, you'd think one, but could it be two? Maybe. And it's like, this is why I need you to show me, not because I don't trust that you don't know how your pants feel, but I can
Help
actually
you.
tell you this is going to be 2 inches, smaller, and I can save you having to try on three more pairs of pants that then you're going to be pissed about because you tried it. So like, where instead of saying like, hey, you don't listen and da da da, it's like, hey, like this is literally him trying to exercise independence, but maybe misguidedly so. So like taking a step back and saying, okay, I'm not gonna let myself get upset about this because the reality is that, you know, we're somewhere in the middle. So let me just explain of how I'm trying to help you and meet somewhere. And we did, and it didn't have to turn into a big thing.
Mhm.
And it actually made the rest of the day better, right? So like figuring out a way, at least for me, of like my natural way. Before I didn't have to have all that excess, we call it excess thinking. It'd just be like, oh man, so and so's pissed me off, and blah blah blah. They don't understand. Versus like taking a moment to kind of like just see it from somebody else's perspective, I guess.
I feel like we've been in a space of it's more about priorities. Okay, what is most important right now? Is it
Mhm.
doing XYZ for her, XYZ here? I would say identity wise, we are, and I'll speak for Jay as well, like we're not the same, but we're not the same just because we're older. We have more lived experience. We are a little bit wiser about how certain things should, function. We won't be doing that again. We know how that went. There's a lot of that is now happening, and I think, you know, just now, something like I just saw her open the door, sliding door, which is heavy, by the way, to let the dog out, right? And so now I'm thinking, okay, what else can you get into? Do I need to like no, that's what it is. Okay, what else
Yeah,
do I need to do? Do I need to put some more safeguards in the house? I don't need to baby-proof anything, but maybe I need to make sure that lock, maybe you
right.
can't get to it, or we need to like
Correct, correct,
change
correct.
what we're using. So I'd say a lot of the focus now for me at least, has been around, okay, what is most important for this family? And it right down to like where we choose to live, how much we're paying for childcare, whether or not I look to get another job. Why? Because I'm able to work from home, which means I'm available to pick her up, drop her off, be there for whatever she needs. All those things are factoring into like literally every decision we are making to the minute, to the second, is about, all right, how is this going to impact not just me anymore, but,
Yeah.
my wife, my child, and shoot, even the daggone dog. Hear me out. You have a dog and you don't have friends close by that can take care of him, you're going on vacation, you're putting your dog in the puppy hotel.
Mhm.
Like you're gonna kennel him, you're gonna put him somewhere, but that's a cost. You have to
Yep.
get him there. And all that factors into it. So it is an act. It is, excuse me, it is an act. It is a not a lesson, not an activity. It is an experience centered around being selfless and really listening to the people around you. So I just
I
oh
think that
Lord.
oh Lord.
Lord.
I think the fascinating part is from an identity perspective. I know a lot of people like change it up entirely when they like become parents and it's all about the kids and like this is what I am. And we made the intentional choice of like that shouldn't be the case. Like
I
the kid
agree.
should fit our life and our interests and we incorporate the
Thank
kid
you.
into all of that versus just okay, I can only do kid stuff now or okay, I can only do this or that. And it was something that was fascinating to me because even though we were that intentional and we had that thought process going into everything, the shift that did happen was a lot of the expectations or assumptions that you have going into it,
Mhm.
like with everything with parenting, it quickly you realize oh, maybe I had it like 40% right.
Yep, 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 yep,
Because
yep, yep.
there's like a 60%, if not more, that's just a surprise element. And it's given everything, given, you know, the child themselves. Because if we wanted to get into the whole nature versus nurture debate, and we'll leave that for an
Another
expert
yep,
show,
yep.
because they come hardwired with
I agree.
their own personality
Yep,
that
yep,
might
yep.
not be nothing like mom or dad.
Right.
And that I think was fascinating for me to kind of learn and realize.
I think that we also make an intentional effort to make sure that we are still, you know,
Hmm.
ourselves as individuals, right? Because, and I'm not saying we can't change, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm not the same person I was five,
You
10,
shouldn't
or
be.
even yesterday, and you shouldn't be.
Right.
But I should be distinctly me, and I'm changing for me. And I think that we can get into a lot of conversations about life decisions, whether it be everything from the social to, like the very personal, like divorce, etc., where a lot of guilt is around there because, like, hey, I am a found believer that as a parent, you have to make decisions that make you as a parent happy because that bleeds into your child whether you realize it or not, right? Like
Hmm.
if you're in a job that you're not happy with, if you aren't doing the
Feel
activities that
that.
bring you personal joy, correct, that bleeds in. And at the worst of it, they pick up on that and either A, internalize it as it's, something to do with them, or B, kind of follow the same pattern. So one of the things that we do with the kids is, hey, these are my interests, and we try to share that with them. So for Maria, it's arts and crafts a lot of the times, and building and creating physical things. And how do we involve them with that? For me, is hey, I'm gonna go do a training swim, but let's make it a beach family day while I'm out there. Or me and Maria enjoy, musicals. So when we have um, a Broadway play, because we have, season tickets, we'll pick one or two where we say, hey, we're going to bring the whole family along so they can partake in something that we're interested in the same way that we partake in their interest going into the park or going to the arcade. And we're kind of all sharing our interests together. And, the beautiful thing about that is that we've discovered that the kids love the theater, right? Like, and that's amazing because now as a family, we have something that we can all share and enjoy together. So,
I think for me, I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't believe that change should ever be for an individual. Don't change
Mhm.
for your kid. Don't change for your mama. Don't change for your daddy. You change needs to come from something that you want to do, or else you don't own it. So
I
what if
agree.
that kid doesn't care about this change that you made? What are you then gonna lose your marbles? So I think for
Yeah.
us, we tried to be very, conscious of that. I agree. Like, you are part of this family. You are not this family. So
Mhm.
Yep,
no,
yep, yep, yep,
I'm
yep,
not.
yep.
I'm not going to get an ugly. I'm not going to purchase an ugly couch because you're here. We're going to work around this. You're going to learn not to spill on this couch.
Exactly.
You're going to sit at the table and, oh, your stuff. You don't just want to leave your stuff in my living room. We share the space.
Yep,
From when
yep,
she
yep,
was
yep.
a baby. Hey, we share this space. We're all in this together. You, the dog, mommy, Grandma Peachy when she's here, everybody, grandpa, grandma, auntie, uncle, we share the space. If you want to do that in your room. We gave you a space to do that. Do whatever you want in there. I don't care what happens. Like, shoot, paint the walls black if you want, whatever.
Yep.
But we are in this together as a unit. And to your point, Hansel, like I try to involve her with as much of the things that I enjoy doing. So
Yep, yep.
yesterday she's like cooking with me. Like, yeah, did she have a dirty green onion that she was chopping with her knife that she was trying to throw into my beans? And I was like, oh, thank you, sweetie. I'm not putting that in the beans. It's got sand in it. Yes. But she
She was
felt like she
involved. Yeah.
was involved. And she was. I
Mhm.
mean, she came through. She made those beans. They were delicious. But I think her just things that she sees often that mommy and I care about. She's like, well, I kind of want to know what that is. And it's like, I'm not forcing this on you. But yeah, but if you're interested, like,
The door's
I'll
always
hook you
open.
up. I'll hook
Yeah.
Yeah.
you up. I got you.
I think it's important to think of that. So funny enough, Phil, you guys were, I guess, inspiration or like you showed us the way. Because that's exactly how we are in our household. It's like these shared spaces are shared spaces. And you can have your things here, but it's not like you're gonna, like kid stuff isn't gonna throw up all over the house.
You're
Your
not
room is
coming to
your
my
room.
house.
Yeah, like you can have everything you want in your room and go crazy. But down here, we share this. We all need to be able to share it. And then going back to Hansel's point about finding the hobbies and the activities, I think that that was a really interesting conversation that, we had in the early days because just parenthood in general, I think has an interesting way of making you reflect on your life and your upbringing and like, the do's and the don'ts that you want to try to impart. And it
Right,
was
right,
something that
right.
we were talking about hobbies, and it was like, oh, we didn't have hobbies growing up. Like I worked. I started working at 10 years old, and work was my thing. The one hobby that I could kind of go back, or two, fine. I'll give you two. One was video games. So I did enjoy me some, you know, GTA 4, GTA
You know what I'm
3,
saying?
technically when I started some Vice City. I enjoyed that. But the other thing that I enjoyed was getting on my bike and just riding out into the park and going into the woods. So
These
being
kids don't ride
outdoors.
bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out there. And I mean it's continued.
Yeah.
Like it is something that still when I need to get clarity, when I need to like have peace of mind or I'm fighting like a sticky problem, it's like, yo, get on the bike and just ride. Does wonders for the like mental load, I think. But it was fascinating to kind of think through like now we're discovering hobbies and like trying to find those things because it wasn't something that we thought about growing up. So we didn't want that for her. So like now she sees us reading. Like Phil, she also joins us cooking. She loves being in the kitchen whenever there's being something being made for two reasons.
Right.
One, because she gets the taste test. So she's like, and then two,
Yep.
because she's just fascinated. Like now she'll walk around the living room and she has a little pan and she has her spoon and she's always mixing. And I was like, what are you making? And she's like, no, here. And then
Tell
it's
you
like,
that.
have to taste
It's
it. And
fun.
I was like, cool.
It's fun now. It's fun now. I'm telling you. Wait till you
Until
get
she's
some
like, I'm
weird.
trying to grill this steak.
Yeah.
You end up with weird Play-Doh, a piece of cut fruit, some old apple juice in there. I remember,
I mean, look, Phil, you're not supposed to
oh,
eat
what
the
the fuck,
Play-Doh if
dude?
no
Right,
one
right,
told
right,
you.
right.
But it's salty.
It's pretend.
It tastes
Did you
I don't
good.
know what
not
seasoning
see
she's
Hook
using, but
growing up?
it's working.
Well, you made
See?
something beautiful.
On cue, I'm telling you. She needs to
Cute
be credited as a guest of the
of
pod.
every episode.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, man, that's what I think. The shift I think that's been most prevalent is that selflessness and just incorporating a tiny human into your space, into your life, and then ensuring that you're able to impart on them these experiences. And like it goes back to there was something that Elle shared with me early on, and it kind of goes back to that nature versus nurture and how somebody referenced that, you're raising a human. You're not raising a child. You're not raising a mini version of you. You're raising a human who, oh, the dinosaur making the appearance. You're raising a tiny human that you need to help become an adult and a full adult, ideally. And the analogy they made was it's kind of like a plant. You water the plant, you provide the plant the space to give them the best opportunity to grow, whether that's direct sunlight, indirect sunlight. You might have to trim the plant as it grows, but the plant is going to grow into the plant it was always meant to be. You're supposed
True.
to be adding the support and the care and the attention that it needs to grow into its best plant self. And like that was like unlocked a whole new way of looking at it. And I don't think I didn't have that prior to like
Perspective.
this conversation because that perspective was,
Mm.
invaluable to us kind of stepping into parenthood.
I've always thought about it as pouring into this little person because when you think
You know
about it
what I
from that
mean?
perspective, they know nothing. I have to teach you how to hold a pen. I have to teach you how to how to walk, how to freaking really. I mean, yeah,
How
you
to
can chew your
interact with other
food.
people.
How to
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's huge. You don't think about it, but like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
know nothing. So like, how can I pour into you in the best way possible? Earlier, we talked a little bit about personality, right, and like
Yeah.
who this kid is. How do I support your personality and who you are becoming? Because even from a young age, they have one. She has it. I knew early on, oh, this is this is her thing. And I see it now. Like I told you guys before, no pet names. Don't call me baby. Don't call me sweetie. My name is
Yeah.
oh, I see what you
That
made.
is
It's
my name.
beautiful.
And what's crazy about that too is that like I think that doesn't as a parent that doesn't necessarily stop. I think that the struggle not the struggle, the challenge is how do you continue to impart and put in to to kind of bring it back full circle, how do you continue to impart whatever knowledge, education you can while maintaining and helping them develop their own identity, which they will carry with them the same way that you're carrying yours, right? So I think that's where kind of to bring it back full circle, I think that if I were to say there was some level of identity shift from my perspective, for me as a parent, is really just how do I continue to honor who I am while teaching my kids to become and develop and honor who they are, right? Whether it is how do you balance, you know, discipline and how do you balance, respect while also making sure that they maintain a level of, you know, self-respect and pushing boundaries and standing up for themselves, right? Like because you could stand up for yourself and that could turn easily into defiance. So how do you kind of promote that in
Yeah.
a way and a lot of more introspection, I think, for me as a parent in thinking about the nuance of some of these, kind of, I guess, exercises, for lack of a better word, because listen, at the moment, you're just thinking, hey, this didn't get done, or I need to communicate XYZ, or they are not
Right.
doing, Y. So it's like, okay, let me take a step back and see how this can become a more longer term conversation or a more productive way of doing things than just snapping.
I think it's also how you make for productive members of society. So I'm a big fan of like you can either
100%.
you can pay now or you can pay later. And I'm like, if you talk to your children, if you pour into them like they are humans, like they're real people with real feelings, and like you don't know all these things that I know, but I'm gonna help you through that. I think that's how you make people who grow into adults that can actually communicate, navigate this space, and who aren't, crashing out at every second because they don't know how to
Yep, yep, yep,
verbalize
yep.
what it is they need or what they want or what they're thinking. So I think it's integral to having a functioning society. Pour in now, guys.
I would love to hear
Clap
from
it
some of
up.
our like viewers or listeners, like how have they kind of been approaching some of these things, and what are they doing to keep themselves continue to be authentic to themselves, right? Like, is it exercising? Is it a bike ride? Is it, getting your apple juice that is, your guilty pleasure? So, like, I think that it's important. And I would love to hear kind of what people are doing to kind of feed themselves in that perspective while being a parent.
Yeah, 100%. I think, interestingly enough, Hansel, you didn't know this. For today's mini segment, I wanted to share and also hear from you three, or you
Mm,
two, and everyone
mm.
else. What are the rituals, or like, what are the things that you put in place to keep those internal moments, or to like ensure that you are still feeling like yourself? So I'll kick us off because going into it, I was kind of very mindful of how easy it is for mom to lose herself in motherhood.
Mhm.
And very early on, like in the process of preparing, it was just like, look, we need a non negotiable almost of how are you going to stay yourself? What is it that we're going to implement so that even amongst the craziness, even amongst the change, the transition, and all the shifts, you inherently will stay yourself. Something that you need that will like fuel you, like Phil said, pouring, because you also have to pour into your own cup while you're pouring into theirs.
Yeah.
So for us, one thing we did was, we each get one day at minimum. Ideally, it's more than this, but the non-negotiable was like one day a month where you do not have to be mom, you do not have to be
Oh, I
dad.
love that.
No questions asked.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We aim and we hope for more. Like hopefully it's happening weekly, but just being realistic from a life perspective, it doesn't always happen that way. So like that's what we implemented. So every once in a while, like there is for me, it's a Saturday or Sunday that I'll take, and I will typically go to a coffee shop, bring my notebook, bring a book, try to read, try to write, where it's just me. And then after that, maybe I'll treat myself and go to, a local bookshop and see what's out. Or maybe I'll just kind of like take a walk and sit outside and not have any distractions or not have any of the like typical parent responsibilities that we all know and love.
Mhm.
And then same for Elle, she was able to like, she takes a day and goes and does whatever she wants. And there's no relying on mom for anything. So it's like, nah, figure it out. Today, you are you, and we'll be at home. And not only does it allow for us to kind of stay true to ourselves and have those moments of disconnect, but then it also gives the other parent like this really special one-on-one time with the little one, because typically you're doing something that is not, traditionally done on a day-to-day, or like, or at least I
Right.
I like to like switch it up and
Correct.
do something off the wall where it's like, oh, why are we here? Like this is new, this is different, so that it becomes special for everybody, So like that's kind of what we did. But I'm curious, what are habits or routines that you all have in place, or like do something even that you wish?
Think for me, it's more of a wish. I'd like to get to that point more so for Jazz. I think her working non-traditional hours in the hospital, we've kind of just by default, I've been with M certain times where she's not there. And, there's certain times where, let's say I'm working on the weekend and she is there. So we've been afforded that. But maybe something more formal would be a really good thing. Like this past weekend, she went away for the first time without us, without, we're talking almost 4 years of never not being home either during the day or at night to see your child. And she was, I gotta give her some props. She did well, but I think towards the end, she's kind of like, I miss my baby. I want to go. I kind of want to be back home, back to the routine. To your earlier point of like, what am I doing for myself? So obviously, spend some time in the gym. It is a very happy place for me. But when I am needing that time to kind of reconnect with like who I am, your boy is cooking up something So like I'm going to maybe 3 or 4 different grocery stores. I'm trying to find culantro, so I got to go to the Asian market because they won't sell it in the regular grocery store. I'm like, doing that, or like, yo, where can I find XYZ? And like doing the research to find out, you know what? I'd like to make my own eel. Can I get fresh eel here? So that is always a good place and has been for me to reset. I'm fortunate that it also nourishes us. So there's a dual purpose there. But that is really when I'm in the zone where like I literally, can spend 4 or 5 hours, come back and be like, yo, Jazz, I've done something special. Like I feel like this is it. Like I've created the best thing I've ever created. It's a little salty, but it's all good.
A little salty, but I promise you.
So yeah.
No, I think for me
Promise.
is gonna be on that line of fitness, to be honest. Like Phil, where it's like whether it's in the morning when I wake up, our oldest to go to school is a 5 a.m. wake up for him, and I wake him up. He hops in the shower, and I go downstairs and hit the gym. Hit the bike, hit the
Mhm.
treadmill. Early morning Saturday runs. Yesterday, I was, went out, met up with, cousins and a friend to do a 2 hour long run. And by the time I got home, people were just getting up, was able to kind of get that from me, be outside, and then, be back in time for breakfast. You know what I mean? So it was it's those kind of moments, just running or on the bike or, just being outside, that's like, all right, now I can dedicate my rest of the time to be, for whatever you guys need, and we'll make it happen.
Bro, I love you, man. But these knees, ain't a 2 hour run.
Ain't no run.
Listen,
Period.
listen. I'm gonna give you guys a preview of what's gonna happen for my 40th. I'm gonna have a little sign. I'm saying just be 5K ready is what I'm saying. Be
Lord.
5K ready. 5K. You can walk it. It's a
It's
5K.
it's
Come
too
on.
cold to run a 5K when your birthday is. It's too
Hey,
Yeah.
cold. It's too cold. It's too cold. You don't want to
5K.
run a 5K in that kind of weather. It's too cold. Too cold.
Listen,
You got that
I got
icy wind coming into your lungs.
Icy wind. I can't do that. Arthritis.
It's trying to kill us.
awesome.
Well, what are some routines that you have? What are some,
You know,
tidbits?
call-
What's the advice? What have you done to stay true to yourself through the madness and through the transitions? Cause yeah, we're
Sorry.
still learning. We're still shifting. What?
All I could think about was Michael Jordan. F them kids. Yeah, don't do that.
Evil.
But
But
on that note,
All
guys,
right.
see you in the comments.
see you in the comments.
Later.
Peace. Peace. Peace.